Episode 2, Jus Curious. I go by the name of S. Gordon. I just want to welcome my guest today. Go by the name of Tony Honcho. Atlanta known by Anthony. You know, you got anything to say to the people?
Hey, what's going on with y'all, man? I want to thank you guys for having me today, and I look forward to politicking with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so my show Jus Curious, I wanted to bring on like dope individuals, influencers. You know, I wanted to bring people on, give them some game. Even some people that I have history with. You know, sometimes, you know, it's best to have people who've been there with you, and then they can like explain more who you is, you know, through their stories. So I wanted to bring you on because I actually met you. This was like 7 years ago.
Correct.
And he was putting together an event, and it was at the Garage Shop. So at the time, I was managing music artists and everything. I was building my own label, had the brand going. You know, I walked in there with like 15 people. You know, he had his own merch and different things. It was called Coins Club, yeah. And it was dope. Like the way he had it set up. He had Rip Flames performing, Preem, and it was a bunch of like other acts as well. So we just kind of kept in contact, you know, from there.
Thanks.
So can you just explain to people like how'd you start, like as far as with your business and everything?
Pretty much. I moved to Atlanta, and I was unemployed. I wasn't working, and I just had a vision. Me and my son always played this game called Zombie Tsunami, and you would just like chase coins, almost like Temple Run
on Sega.
Pretty much.
I used to have that game.
So it was on the phone, and it was pretty much like Temple Run, where you just collect coins until you die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, everybody just getting coins, and it put me in perspective of like Mario Brothers. So like, you know, I think that'd be a dope name for a clothing brand, Coins Club, because we all out here trying to get coins. So I came up with an image. I think Future Monster was popping at the time, and that kind of like motivated me. His album cover was like him as a monster. So I did my logo something similar to that, but he was eating coins. And I'm like, yeah, it pretty much represented self-investment. Like anything you want to do, you just got to feed your dream, feed your own passion. So I'm like, that'd be a dope little image as far as representing self-investment, just showing somebody eating coins. Like all the money I make, I just put it right back into myself and my dreams and my following like that. So I was fresh in Atlanta, but I still had ties to Cleveland. So I pretty much was like, you know what, let me start with it at home. See if I can get some up and coming artists, you know what I'm saying, to back me, fuck with the brand and things like that. So I reached out to Rip Flame Management and Preem, and they was willing. They're like, yeah, for sure, we'll do it. And pretty much that's how me and you met. And you had Forever 100, and I think you probably had like 15 artists. Like you like, I want all the slots, like, you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, hey, cool, that's a bet. And shit, like you said, we made it happen at the Garage Shop. So that was like my introduction to like trying to be an entrepreneur and investing in myself.
Okay. Was that like your first event that you did, or did you have other events before that?
No, that was my first event. I was like, let me go for it. You feel me? So it was just like, it was a learning process as far as learning how to book a venue, reach out to different type of artists, promote, and try to get people to actually believe in the movement and support. So it was dope. It was dope.
So I throw events, and I've been doing it for a while. So I just want to ask you, like, so was it profitable for you, you know, throwing your first event?
No, I really broke even. Having artists buy slots to perform and then paying Preem and Rip, you know, at the door, I pretty much broke even, paying for the venue, paying for the artists, and pretty much the artists that bought slots actually paid for Preem, Rip Flame, and the venue. So it was just an experience. Like,
that's dope. So you had your brand that you was pushing. So the event was more so to push your clothing line at the time. Coins Club,
correct.
Was that your like vision? Which I think is dope, because now I met you and you was doing that. At the time, I was pushing a brand and building a label and different things like that. I wasn't really selling merch and things like that. I thought that if I get a bunch of people to wear the shirt, it's gonna make people want to know what it is, and eventually they're gonna want to buy it. Could you explain to the viewers the importance of investing into your brand?
The importance is it don't move unless you move. You want to invest in your brand simply because nobody know it exists until you start pretty much putting that money behind it. Sometimes I gave away shirts. Like I had shirts that said "Hustle First to First" with my logo in it, and I'd be like, "Hey, yo, what's going on?" I go to like certain studios in Atlanta and it's like, "Hey, I want to drop this off. How many people in here?" Write their sizes down, and I just drop shirts off. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I go to clubs, give them to security guards, and you'll be surprised how many times you will just pop up and see somebody in your brand like, "Oh, okay, that's dope." And I reach out to promoters and things like that, and then it makes it easy to sell them because people, you'll put them on Instagram, and even though you know that you probably gave them to somebody's willing to pay for it because they're like, "Oh, okay, that's fresh, that's hard. How much you want for them?" And then you just set your price. So basically invest in you. The more you invest in you, the more outreach you have, and the more leverage you're gonna have with your brand. Because if you're not investing in it, then it's just sitting there, and you just pretty much just wasting your time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Especially for artists too, like, cause I used to manage, and I spent a lot of money as far as like in the entertainment aspect and everything. A lot of artists, they make a claim that they're not getting a shot or nobody want to listen to them. People don't support me in my city, but they only invest in the project itself. The music is only 10%. Right. They never put the investment dollars in a marketing, even going out of town. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get a little bit to that a little later. But what's the importance of having a brand and then, you know, furthering it? You know, I want you to talk more about that.
Pretty much, you look at the brands we fall in love with, it's all propaganda. You get artists that get these deals and they wear the Gucci, the Balenciaga, they wear these things for free. And they trick you to go buy it. So it's key as far as putting the money behind it, so that way you can bump heads and network to people who has an influence, and they persuade different people to actually buy into your product. And as far as with the music, you know, like you said, the music is like 10%. Anybody can go in there and make a song, but it's all about what you put behind it as far as flyers. It's All-Star Weekend here in Cleveland, so I'm expected to see local artists flooding the posters, flyers, billboards, everything down in front of the downtown area, so everybody know, like, okay, these the artists that's popping in the city. When I'm in Atlanta, that's all you see. If it's an event, artists, they going heavy on the promo. So you definitely want to put money behind yourself, because if not, why would I invest in you? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to invest in nobody who want a handout. I want to see that you already rolling, you got something going on, you seem more profitable that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, All-Star Weekend has been planned for years. I want to say at least 4 or 5 years. People knew it was coming here, so it's a lot of people who say people don't support them, or they may complain for other people saying different things or whatever. But oh well, fuck that. Like, people should have been getting their money together
3 years ago.
All the artists is gonna be here. You could pay for a feature. You could do a podcast like what I'm doing right now.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't got the money to do that, it don't cost a couple dollars to get stickers, flyers. Go to where they at. You know what I'm saying? You never know who you might bump into. Build some relationships and different things like that is very important and is very key. And that's how you get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, it's about to look like Atlanta here this weekend.
Right.
So it's no excuse. Some people ain't never even been out of their own area.
No, for sure.
But some people never even been downtown.
No, for sure.
But
I mean, some people think going to Toledo and Cincinnati is out of town. But I mean, it's to each his own. Like, you got to be showed that. I was showed at a young age traveling. So it made me want to know more. Like, okay, when you hear about these spots like Cali, New York, Houston, Memphis, things like that. You want to experience it. And it's like, if you don't know the wherewithal, you just block, you limit yourself. So it's just like your outreach, pretty much, be around people who's moving. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually you're going to get that invitation, whether you got it or not. If you loyal and somebody rock with you enough, they're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going out here. Don't even worry about nothing. I'm going to take care of this trip. I want you to come and experience this. I got this and that going on. So it just pretty much broaden your horizon.
Okay. So I want to talk about more about, so you started in Cleveland. What's the area that you grew up?
I grew up on 121st and Union.
Okay.
Right off of like 116th. It was a corner store called Dagwood. Used to be Mike's back in the day. I went to Charles Dickens, which they tore down. It's like a fire station or something like that. Then I went to Jameson off 131st up until 6th grade. Got accepted to Cleveland School of Arts. Went there for a year, and then my mother moved us to the suburbs. So I did middle school through high school at Cleveland Heights, in Cleveland Heights.
Okay. Did you like playing these sports back in the day?
Yeah. I grew up playing baseball. I believe it's CBF, Cleveland Baseball Foundation. Shout out to Coach Evans. He was my coach, and then he coached Power 6 Red Dogs. So he had me go from baseball to football. And then from there, when we moved, I played for Tally Tigers up at Forest Hill Park.
I remember that.
Then I started playing basketball like 7th grade. The summer of going to the summer of going to 7th grade, I learned how to play basketball. I played basketball for Roxborough Middle School, went on to play for Cleveland Heights High School, Richmond High School, varsity level, and Brush High School at varsity level.
Wow. That's crazy. You seem like you went to a lot of schools. Like, how was that, like, the transition and going in from school to school? Like, was it easy to adapt? And do you think that helped you now, like, as far as what you got going on now?
The transition, I really didn't pay it too much attention. I was kind of quiet, coming from my upbringing. I was quiet. I wasn't the freshest kid, and really until like high school. So I really wasn't up on fashion. Like in Cleveland, it wasn't really back then. I say Tommy, Polo. You know what I'm saying? That was popping. So it was like really, I in Cleveland, we didn't even know nothing about that until I moved to the suburbs, and these kids is dressing nice and things like that. So it was just like I was quiet. Like, nah, I'm cool. Like they get a little money though. But I mean, the transition was cool. The girls enjoyed me for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I never really have a problem in that lane. And then the sports helped me out as far as just like interacting and stuff like that. I think I was a known person. I ain't gonna say one of the most popular, but people knew who I was, things like that. It pretty much just helped with like networking, and then just seeing how people was living, like coming from a place where we didn't really sit down at a table and eat dinner. It was like, okay, mom cook, whenever you come in, you probably gonna eat. Everybody ate separately. I had older sisters who probably worked, so if they did eat, you know what I'm saying, it'd be later. I come in from playing outside, I'm gonna eat, shower, get ready for school, and then you move to these different areas where they parents got a little bit more money than you seeing like, oh no, y'all actually sitting down eating together and things like that. It was more structured. So just seeing things like that made me want more. Like, okay, this is how things supposed to get when you get older. I want something more structured like this instead of just winging it half the time.
That's what's up. So like growing up, cause I ain't gonna lie, you a hustler like me, you know what I'm saying? So I want to know, like, where did you get like your hustle mentality, like your drive, and then I want to get into like just being innovative later. But where did that come from? Did somebody inspire you?
I guess it just came from wanting. I was young and I go rake leaves, shovel snow, just to have something. And And then I'm gonna give my parents they roses as well. My mother had 4 kids, working 2 jobs, sometimes 3, pick up a 3rd job. I seen my father be an entrepreneur on many levels, so I guess it was probably just already in me. I just had to get a feel for it myself, and like once I realized who I was, and a lot of things didn't matter to me. Like being cool didn't never matter to me. Like who I knew, and like none of that stuff. I didn't care about that. It was just like, what do I want to do? How I want to do it. Like, all right, when I get out of school, I'm about to go shovel. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get some money. That's all it was for me. So I definitely would have to say it was just, I was born with it. Because I didn't have nobody really around that really I idolized. Like, you know, music wasn't that big. You wasn't really exposed to it that much, so you didn't see the glitz and glamour from it. You probably heard the music. And then growing up with no cable, we had the box. So you seen videos, but it was all, you know what I'm saying, staticky. So you really couldn't really tap into it to really see what was really going on.
Man, you said box, man. Some of these kids, they were looking like, what is that?
Shadow 32. You gotta have that co-hanger antenna. To tap into that for real.
Yeah, that's when you can get the $50 cable back then. It probably was $25 back then though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk more as far as like your entrepreneurial, like once you like left high school, because I know you had the clothing brand and everything. Did you have any brands or anything that you was building before that point?
Nah. I was pretty much into sports, playing basketball, and then as far as like being a hustler, you know, when that wave of selling CDs and DVDs, I was on that wave. Like I'll be working and still selling CDs every day. So it's like I'm getting paid twice. I worked at Stouffer's. Let's see, I dropped out 12th grade at Brush. I just wasn't feeling it no more. Like once I transferred there, it was just like I wasn't feeling the people there. You feel me? I ain't gonna say they felt that they was better, but it just wasn't me. So I ended up dropping out, going to life skills, graduated from life skills. And with life skills, you had to have a job. So I ended up getting a job at Stouffer's. Like at 18, 19, I'm working at Stouffer's, making like $10. That was good money back then. And I'm selling CDs. So I got all these old heads like, hey, you got the whispers, you can give me Marvin Gaye. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going home. I'm working 3rd shift, and then from there I'm going home burning CDs, and I'm going back. This one CDs was like $5, $10. You know what I'm saying? So every Friday I'm collecting from them. And, I'm collecting from them and getting the check. So pretty much I just always been hustling for real.
That's dope. So once you went from like this, because I can relate to that, because I got my own fragrance and everything, and I used to drive a truck and do deliveries, and then I was selling my bottles to customers.
Right.
And I'd be like, I somewhat throw it in there, and customers, I was selling like 5 bottles a day, you know, out of the truck. I ain't supposed to be doing that, but it was just a way, you know, a way to make extra bread, you know. And that's the thing about business, or just being an entrepreneur in general. You should take at least 30 minutes to an hour a day and put it in your business. If you're not taking 30 minutes to an hour a day into your business and you wonder why your stuff ain't going nowhere, that's why. Because say if you take, let's say, an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. It's 24 hours in a day. So you telling me you can't even take 5% of your week or 10% of your week and put it into your business? That's how you get ahead, and that's how you get far. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope, man. I want to go into you know, after that, like once you know, graduated and everything like that. So what happened after that?
I still was working at Stouffer's. I worked there for like 5 years. I got hired. I started off through a temp agency. I got hired in. I was making like $14 an hour now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm young.
That's good money back then.
Yeah, I'm like 19, 20. Like I'm getting paid more than a lot of people's parents. You know what I'm saying? I'm making, and I'm working overtime. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm bringing home anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 every Friday. You know what I'm saying? So now they looking at me like, oh, he a dope boy. I'm pulling up on chicks' house. They like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he a dope boy. Ooh. But I'm like, nah, I actually work. You get what I'm saying? And I'm selling CDs. So pretty much I did that for about 4 years. And then I end up, I worked at the jewelry store at Richmond Mall. And then that pretty much just helped escalate my selling technique, because they had like a selling model, and they really taught you how to sell, greet the customer, always give a compliment. And it's almost just like picking up a girl too. Like, you greet, you might say, hey, you got some nice nails, you know what I'm saying? So somebody comes to the jewelry store, oh, that's a nice ring. What kind of ring is that? Oh, what was the occasion? Oh, let me clean that for you. You know what I'm saying? So now I got your attention, and you got to stay in the store because I'm about to go clean your ring. So now you just pretty much building a report, asking them like what brought them in to the store today and things like that. So I pretty much just took that technique, and it helped expand me as far as selling CDs. And then I worked there for like a year. Then I eventually went to Kent State. I did a year at Kent State, and then after that, I had my son in '08, and about 2011, we moved to Atlanta.
So, welcome to Atlanta. So he said 11. So, how was that like the energy and was it like a culture shock for you when you moved to Atlanta? How was your experience there? Like when you first started?
At that time, the mixtapes is booming. Now, a lot of music is coming from down there, so you hearing the culture. And it was just like, okay, coming from Cleveland, I visited a few times, went into the strip club. You start falling in love with little things. And then, like, as I really start being around people from the city, and I'm seeing, like, no, this music is a lifestyle here. Like, I wasn't seeing people on lean and, you know what I'm saying, like, popping pills and stuff like that. Certain things that I was witnessing down there wasn't even a thing up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in Cleveland, our haircut was like a schoolboy. You might just get a tint, you know what I'm saying, tint the sides in the back. Down there, they was really wearing fade, bald head fades, you know what I'm saying, like T.I. and, you know what I'm saying, doing all type of crazy things. So just like now, you come up here, everybody got dreads. You didn't see dreads.
Beards.
You was a real Haitian, or you know what I'm saying, you was a Jamaican wearing dreads if you was up here. So it's just like, it was a real culture shock. Like, these guys really living a whole different lifestyle. So it was like, you know what I'm saying, I would say it was a culture shock, but it pretty much just showed me, like, these guys is really creating their life in music, and they're not following nobody.
Okay. And so said 2011. So when did you start your brand, like with the t-shirts and hats? You had a little bit of everything. Like, when did you start that?
I would say about 2014. I would have to say, well, like I said, when that Future Monster mixtape dropped, I was going through a lot, like just trying to find myself. But I think he had dropped Evo. He had dropped like 3 or 4 mixtapes in 1 year. And you know what I'm saying, I was a Future head, and really, like I said, a lot of his music inspired me as far as my creative thoughts. And that's when I started the brand Coins Club. And I just got some sample shirts, and I take them down to Clark, Atlanta, Morehouse, Spelman, like I said, barbershops, beauty salons, sell them, hang up posters in there. Like, if you bought a shirt, if your company your business bought a shirt from me, I'm like, I come back a week later, like, hey, I got some posters, can I hang them up? And they're like, sure. And I hang the posters with my Instagram up in the salons, things like that.
So you said something very important. When you started your brand, you started to really put the foot to the pavement, and you start going different places, to the barbershops, the salons, hanging your posters, marketing,
No, facts.
It wasn't like, did you have a street team and all of that, or was it just you?
It was me, and sometimes it was my son. He was probably like 4 or 5 at the time.
Oh, wow.
So he walking around with me, like, we street hanging up posters on poles. We going into these barbershops and these salons, network. I just felt like that was the voice. Every time you go into a salon, a barbershop, people are picking up certain things and seeing what's popping through them. So I'm like, if I can connect with them and build relationships with some of these business owners, then it's going to help me be more profitable and get my brand out there more.
That's what's up. So when you doing the t-shirts and everything, like, how was that for you? Was it did you start to gain traction? Like, was the business like building up? Do you feel like that was a great investment for you?
Oh yeah, it definitely was a great investment. I would say at first I started off about 15 shirts. like test shirts just to see what I can do. Like I wasn't working at the time. My son mother, shout out to her, like she held it down. She was working. She had a good job. So I was just stay at home dad for real. So on her off days when I did get out in the city, that's what I was doing. I'm like, man, let me take I'll take 5 shirts. I'm going out the house with probably like $10, probably enough just to get something to eat if I get hungry. But it's like, I'm gonna take a couple shirts out and see what I can do with them. And then once I start seeing them go, and it's like, I know these shirts may cost me $350 to make. So I'm just like, all right, I'm a price point at like 30, but I'm willing to accept whatever somebody's willing to give me. Loans, you know what I'm saying? Loans, I can make some type of profit. But then once I start seeing people like, oh, let me get one for my girl. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm running out of shirts. I'm going back home. Now I got $100. So next time I go out, I'm doubling up on shirts. And that's just how I kept going. Like, it really was one situation. It's like a Metro Market in Atlanta. And I go down there and post up with shirts. And a lot of out-of-towners may go there and shop. And I had some shirts, and I had approached 2 guys. And I'm like, hey, what's up with it? Hey, I got a brand. Come check me out. And they like, nah, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't fucking with you type shit. So I'm like, cool. No biggie. I go on, go to the next motherfucker. So I go to these other 2 guys, I see them coming out. And they just bought whatever they bought in there. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Check me out. I got a brand. And they was excited. Like, oh, yeah, we from Alabama. We got to take something back to the city. Let me check you out. So they like, oh, yeah, them dope. I'm about to get 2 right now. So I charged them 15. They got 2 for 30. I gave them $15 a piece, and then they're like, "Oh no, my other 2 dudes gotta get shirts too. They'll be out here in a minute." So I'm like, "All right, cool, bet that." Next thing I know, it's the same 2 dudes that weren't trying to show me no love. But since they other people, they're like, "Oh, let me get them." So I gave them to them for 40. I'm like, "Nah, y'all can get them for 20 a piece." Like, you know what I'm saying? Because before y'all just y'all shed on me. So now that y'all other 2 friends trying to buy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna run it up on y'all. So they end up taking a picture with it. They got the shirts and they end up taking pictures. And I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So it really just boils down to who the head honcho in the crew. You know what I'm saying? Because if the head person y'all look up to is in it, y'all willing to do anything. And then from that day forward, I was just like, you know what? I'm just about to just go hard. I see I can move these shirts easy.
That's dope, cause I remember when I created my fragrance, and I used to go to all the bars, salons. I did the same exact thing that you did with the t-shirts, and bars is dope. Like, if you can, a lot of people can't sell product in a bar. They'd be intimidated, maybe because you got the nice looking bartenders, big security guards. You got a DJ who might be popping or whatever. But I don't care. Like, I'll walk in anywhere. I'll sell Kool-Aid in the middle of Lake Erie.
No, for sure.
So I'll go start with the security. They first. Security ain't want my product. They like, nah, I don't want that. I wear Tom Ford, I wear Gucci, I wear Bond or whatever. And I told him, I say, listen, Diddy ain't never walked up to you before. Tom Ford ain't never walked up to you before. I am. So you might as well buy them now while they cheap. They only $10 right now. Right. These bottles gonna be $100 or more in the future. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago. So I go in the bar and I'm set. All the bartenders bought my product, the owner, the DJ. So the security guard looking at me the whole time. He watching, seeing me maneuver the crowd. So then people in the crowd seeing people buying it, they start coming. It's the Jones effect. See, the thing is, people gonna buy from you when they see other people buy it. So if you and all your friends wearing Jordans, everybody gonna want Jordans because that's what everybody wearing. It's the Jones effect. So that same security guard walked up to me. He bought 2 bottles from me, just because he seen other people buying product from me.
You don't want to feel like the outcast.
So yeah, that's the thing too. Like when you feel like people don't want to buy your product or maybe not support you, don't give up. Just keep going, because that same person that's not gonna buy from you, they gonna come back.
Facts.
Sometimes people test you as far as in sales, and that happened to me before. They want to see how strong you are as far as with your product, and it sucked. Like, I don't like when people try to test me, but oh well, I don't give a damn. Yeah. So, and they gonna come back. So, and never drop your price for nobody. Now, me, I got $100 product now. I got $100 sprays and $50 candles and different things like that. But somebody may not have $100. I'm gonna still sell you a $10 oil. I need it all.
Facts.
I get the $10 just like I would get the $100. So, have you ever had a bad experience, like as far as like in sales, like something that didn't go right?
I can't say a bad experience because 9 times out of 10, my product sold.
Mm.
You know, I just push it to the limit to the fact that I'm not convinced, but the genuineness of me standing on my brand don't get you to buy it.
Mm.
Like, because if you don't represent self-investment, what do you represent?
Mm.
That's enough to sell a true hustler anything. And then when you see the logo, oh, that's dope. What is it? Oh, it's just a guy representing self-investment. Feed your dream. Feed your passion. You know what? That's dope. What you want for it? Take it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I know everybody, and then like I said, that was room for trial and error. So it was more so like, all right, you set a bar, but everybody might not have. So it's just like coming from the inner city, I'd rather have a broke kid in my stuff than a rich and famous person, because especially if they stand for what it mean.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can buy anything, but if you don't respect what you buy, what is it? That's like, I don't really wear designer. Like, I got some pieces, but I'm not in that. Not that I can't afford it, because I can stand next to somebody who's draped down in it and look just as good and get more compliments while you Gucci down. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's all about you, who you are. If you stand on knowing you look good, you look good. Who is it to tell you ain't?
And that's dope too. Like how you was just talking about how the designer and the different clothes and things like that. I know a lot of people, they say they might be fly or they know how to dress. Like I'm real big into fashion, but fashion isn't the name or the design. It ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. Now, if somebody say they can dress, they like, I got Gucci, I got Louis, I got this, I got that. It might look good because everybody wearing it, but I can literally create an outfit with like $400 and I look way better than somebody that spent $3,000.
For sure.
I had a party and I had on my own custom socks, S. Gorin socks, S. Gorin shoes, had the custom wooden bow tie with my name on it and everything. So these girls walked up to me, they're like, ooh, them Giuseppe's or whatever. It's like they was looking at my shoes. I'm like, nah, these S. Gordons. And they're like, S. Gordon, that sounds expensive. And they didn't know that was my name. So the thing is, like I said, it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you, you know, and sometimes the things you buy, it lose value. Like this coat I got on right now, you could have wore this in the 70s and you can wear it now. And my grandkids gonna be able to wear it one day.
Right.
It ain't gonna never lose its value. So you just gotta know that, you know what I'm saying? So I wanna talk about the transition from Cleveland to Atlanta. Do you feel like people support you more in Atlanta than they do Cleveland?
For sure. That's because that's really where I'm based at. I never really targeted Cleveland. Like I did when I did the show, and I did the show because I was hanging around a lot of promoters, and I was seeing how they was moving with the music as far as independent artists and things like that. So I wanted to tie my brand into that. Like, hey, let me see if I can support some of y'all artists, link y'all with guys I know out here, and incorporate my brand as well. You know what I'm saying? So as a whole, Atlanta pretty much embraced the movement because that's where it is. You know, as far as Cleveland, when I come back home, you know, people show love and, you know, they support as when they can. But as far as like in general, Atlanta definitely showed more love.
So would you recommend artists like step out of their comfort zone, or it don't got to be an artist? They could do hair, they could do nails, podcasts, whatever business, they could sell glasses. Would you recommend them to go out of town, see other people, if it's not working here, or they may not be thinking they getting they just do?
That's 50-50. I'm 50-50 with that because in Cleveland, I never really seen the grit of the hustle. You know, you as far as selling CDs, I was moving around, you know, with the CDs, but as far as like thinking outside the box as a whole, like you never really seen somebody come up from the bottom too much, you know. Down there is all in your face. So it's like you can learn things, and I'm like, man, I go back home, and you know, everybody get cocky, like, well, I just take over, I do this, that, and the third. Like, that's why a lot of people who do venture off and see other places, not even just to move, but just to visit, they come back and you know, they copycat. You know, they see what's popping, and they start it up back at their home. Ain't nothing wrong with it, because you know, every idea starts from somebody else. So it's just like, you know, it's a difference. Like you said, do I think that they should move or leave? Like, they definitely should leave and venture off in other areas and see what's going on. But to the standpoint of everybody feeling like, oh, I gotta be here to make it, I don't think that's true. I think you could be anywhere and make it. It's all about the work that you put in, you know, to reach that level of success. You don't have to be in a certain area. You know what I'm saying? Because now if you get into a certain area where everybody doing the same thing, you still can get overlooked even faster.
So I always feel like, you know, a lot of our people, you know, the people from our neighborhoods, they never come back to their community. You know, in Cleveland, it's a lot of people that got some money, and trust me, I be in rooms with them. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of us don't put our money together.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? That we don't work together. Like, some people do work together, but I'm talking about the people with the bread. And even if you ain't got the money, it could be the credit, it could be resources. We don't share each other's resources.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like with me and you know, different meetings we may have, and we talking about financial literacy.
Correct.
These things wasn't taught when I was young. Like, they taught, my parents taught me how to save and how to budget. And I used to save my money in the shoebox, and then I got to a bank. But the percent that I may get on the bank, you know what I'm saying, or is super low. But putting your money maybe in the stocks, or, you know, maybe putting your money into a business or something like that and let it grow, taking actual risks. So I just feel like it's important for people like me and you and our generation to help the people that's under us. And even if we ain't telling them, just showing them with our moves and our actions, just being able to sit down and just simply just talk about the different things that we went through.
No, correct.
It's game. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what's missing right now, game and guidance. How do you feel about that?
With that, you know, I stand with you on that. I feel like if you around, you gonna get the game, because every day I'm working, I'm trying to better, I'm learning, and I'm trying to surround myself by people who's doing the same. So it's just like, I don't want to be around somebody who's barely doing enough to better their own situation. So it's just like, pretty much, I want you to be at the same level or be on the same playing field I am, because you never know when it's your time to be a part of that next investment. You know what I'm saying? I can't come to somebody and want to invest in them and your credit messed up or you ain't got the capital. So it's just like, make yourself an asset for somebody else to help get you where you want to be. Because nobody want to help somebody who's a risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a risk, people gonna pretty much, they not gonna get, it's nothing I can do for you, because you ain't trying to do nothing to better yourself. But the moment you start trying to better yourself as far as credit, saving money, you'll be surprised at how much information start to come or how much help start to come, because later on down that line, somebody might need you.
Exactly. And that's another thing too, is like, a lot of times people, see, I'm not a complainer. Like, I don't complain about, you know, what somebody not giving me, or if I may not be getting supported or whatever. I don't care, because the world is so big. It's so many people out here. Somebody gonna buy my product. Somebody gonna show it to my event. Somebody is gonna believe in me. And you know why that's gonna happen? Because I believe in myself. And that's what you got. But the thing is, a lot of us, instead of complaining, I always say this: stop looking out the window and look in the mirror. If you literally invest in yourself, you're going to be amazed at how many doors open up and people going to start helping you. It's like a car. If, knock on wood, but if your car break down and you sitting there and you like, man, I wish a tow truck can just tow my car so I can go get it fixed. 9 times out of 10, nobody going to stop and help you.
No.
Even if your hazards is on. But if you get out that car and you start pushing it, somebody driving is probably gonna stop and they're gonna help push the car.
No, true.
That's how business is. Like me, you know, I start investing in myself. I start working on my health, credit. You know, I start investing in clothes, how to dress, my appearance, the way I talk, my mind, my knowledge. You know, those different things. Them don't cost a lot. You know, and when you start investing in certain things and business, you know, get your LLCs and get your websites, get you an email. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't afford $100 to get an LLC, you can literally email yourself the name of the company or brand that you want to do, and don't open it up. That's the cheapest way to keep your idea. You know, something like that's some free game for you right there.
No, facts.
So I just feel like instead of complaining, invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get yourself together, the people that you associate yourself with, the people that you around, like if ain't nobody challenging you mentally, if nobody challenges you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, or intellectually, they shouldn't even be around you, because they just wasting your time.
No, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
How do you feel about people and the resources that you keep around yourself? Is it like, did you take any losses, you know, along your journey?
Yeah, I definitely took losses. That comes with part of the game. You're gonna take losses because you be uncertain on what you can do as far as reaching the capacity that you're trying to head to. But the thing is, don't give up. Like I didn't fail multiple times. I didn't gave away so many shirts and didn't make $1. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, where did I fail at? How can I make this better? Or you start getting ideas from other people. Say, what can I do to make this better? What do you think about it? What don't you like about it? You know, take criticism from all different angles, and I think that'll help. But I definitely took losses, man. I'm still taking losses, but your loss is not more than what you gain, because once you start gaining, you gonna gain. You got to look at these Fortune 5 billion-dollar companies. They take losses every day. You know, so loss is going to be part of it. And another thing to piggyback off what you said, as far as sharing information, that's like one of your homeboys or homegirls can be successful, and they never give you the opportunity to get on their level. They never share the knowledge. You could be underneath them every day, helping them work, run their business, and not one time will they ever give you any knowledge on what you could do to better yourself. They try to hinder you. To make you a worker, you know what I'm saying? While they opening up multiple businesses, not once have they reached out to you and say, hey, this is what you need to do. So when I open up this second business or this third business, you a partner, because you didn't help me build my first one. I want you to be a part of the third one. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's something that we need to do as a whole. And that's what's key about supporting your own. Like if your brother, sister, cousin, best friend, anybody got a business, hold them down, because it costs nothing to support. And when you support them, they liable to help support you.
That's dope. So you had started a sneaker brand, like kind of like transitioning from the shirts and everything like that. And you open up your own store. Like, how did that even come about, as far as the shoes and stuff like that?
I was selling shirts, and everybody was like, you ain't got no shoes to go with them? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, y'all want shoes? So, and then I just kept hearing it. So I'm like, you know what? All right. I started taking some of my investment, buying shoes. Like, I always stayed in Jordans or something like that. And this before Yeezy time. So Jordan pretty much was the go-to shoe. So I just go grab 2 or 3 pair extra, you know what I'm saying? And I just keep track of who texts me like, you ain't got these shoes to go with this? So I start matching shirts up with shoes and send messages like, hey, I got these in with that. Oh shit, come through. So now I'm making money off shoes and a shirt. So I'm like, okay, I might be on to something. So then I start just pulling up with a trunk load of shoes. You know what I'm saying? I got all type of shoes, and people like, oh, this nigga's going out his trunk, like he going almost like a booster. They're like, oh, he the booster. They call it a booster. So I'm up at the salons and stuff like that. People trying to get fresh, and you know, it pretty much just took off from there. Like people just wanting it from the shoes, and then I was like, you know what? I'm making more money flipping the shoes, and it kind of steered me away from the clothes. Cause I'm like, you know what? I need to just focus on the shoes, cause everybody want these shoes.
That's what's up. So you open up your own store. Like, what is that? What inspired you? Is the shoes? Cause they start selling and everything.
Right.
Like
they start selling, and it's at a point where it started getting harder to get. So I opened up a sneaker store called Runway Sneaker Closet. The name come from, I look at life every day is a runway. Every day you wake up, you know, life's your runway. So I'm like, you know, and sneaker closet, because every day I looked at my sneaker collection. I'm like, I got a dope little sneaker closet. You know what I'm saying? So I just took the everyday runway quote and envisioned my sneaker closet and put it together. Like, I'm gonna have a brand called Runway Sneaker Closet.
That's dope. So as far as like once you open up the store, like how was that? Cause this what's the time frame of this?
This was probably 4 years ago. Okay. I was selling the shirts and the shoes. I started selling shoes on eBay, and you know that I really was paying the rent like that. I'm like, man, people just buying shoes crazy, and I found the spot. I was telling one of my homeboys out there, I'm like, man, I'm about to open this new shoe store. They're like, oh yeah, do it. It's some spaces over here. I went to go look at them, and I was like, you know what? I got in contact with the owners, and I ended up getting the space. So when I opened it up, you know, it was cool. It was slow, but I was still doing more traveling because people was used to me selling out the trunk. You know, and then where the location was, it was like south side of Atlanta. So a lot of people didn't want to drive to that county. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a racist county, things like that. So I was using like OfferUp, Craigslist.
Let Go.
Yeah, Let Go. Apps like that to really advertise, and people would come. And then some people didn't even know it was me. So some people who I was selling stuff with on the street was like, oh, you the dude that was selling shoes out your trunk. So now they looking like, oh, you got a whole store. Like, that's crazy. That's dope. Like, some of the cats didn't see the evolving of me going from shop to shop, finding cats at the gas station, posted up outside clubs at night. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm going out to the clubs and I'm not even trying to go in. I'm passing out flyers, just building the network, letting people know my presence. So it's just like, once I got to the storefront, people was like really respecting it, like, dang, bro, you motivated me, and like just giving me praise. And it felt good for myself to know, like, okay, now I'm a business owner. But it was just like, it was a learning process, because it's like, okay, I'm a business owner. Now I got to learn how to keep track of inventory. I got to learn how to not fuck up my profit. You know what I'm saying? Just because, oh, I done made like 3,000, I got to go put this in the bank. I can't go throw this at the strip club at Folly City. You know what I'm saying? Blue Flame, Magic City, giving it back. So it was just like, I had to learn structure with it.
That's what's up. So, so you said that was 4 years ago. So that was around like 2017, 2018.
2017, yep. Okay. I want to say October of 2017.
Okay. So we had a pandemic. This was around 2019, going into 2020, 2019, 2020. So did you have any setbacks during the pandemic? Did you have to like switch? Like, anything happened to you around that time?
Yeah, around that time, I would say right before the pandemic, you know, I was going through a little situation that had happened to me. I had caught a fleeing and eluding charge in Atlanta. So pretty much I didn't even think that was like a serious charge. You look on World Star and stuff like that, you see people fleeing all the time from the police. So I just put myself in a bad situation. And, you know, right before the pandemic hit, I was fighting that, going back and forth to court. And then they was just like, hey, you know, you're going to have to do 5 years, but you're going to probably have to serve 1 on that charge. So pretty much I had to like right when everything was shutting down, I had to end up shutting my store down. I want to say June of 2019. I ended up going to prison for the first time. in the midst of all that.
So once you were in there, like, did you, like, what was your mentality? Like, did you switch your whole brand?
At the time, no, I was really just trying to focus on, will I still be able to be relevant when I return? How would things be? How would people view me? You know, I'm looking at it like I'm feeling like I'm not on top of the world, but I'm headed there. Like, you know, I got a store. I'm getting notoriety. You know, I'm just thinking like, how is people going to view me? Like, damn, I'm a failure now. You know, I got my son looking up to me. I got nieces and nephews. You know, I got people, you know, in the family talking, oh, he down here doing so good. He in Atlanta doing this, that, and the third. And it was like, you know, that praise felt good. But then it's like when you come to a halt like that by making one decision, it's like, what is the bounce back gonna be like? You know what I'm saying? And you know, so I just reset. I stayed focused. I didn't really get down on myself. I used that time really to, you know what I'm saying, educate myself, become more knowledgeable of things, learn how I can revamp the situation and come home back on top, or, you know what I'm saying, get back successful and pick up where I left off.
Yeah. So I was just always curious, like when you get locked up, you know, especially like some people, they do like a lot of years, like, and people go through like mental, you know, depression and anxiety and just different things. They so used to being out in the world and, you know, just a luxury, like taking showers, you know, hot showers and different things like that. How did you focus, you know, or keep your mind state and your mentality? Was there anything that you did in there to kind of help you, your sanity?
Really, a place like that, you kind of gotta adjust to your surrounding if you that type of person. But reading, exercising, and, you know, keeping to yourself pretty much was the biggest keys. But, you know, sometimes you might have to turn up or let niggas know like, nah, I ain't this ain't that. But other than that, just being able to communicate with certain people, like people respected situations, and then when you ain't cap, like, you know, people admire that, like, okay, you ain't one of them dudes who talking 10 years ago, you was just doing this 3 months ago, you know what I'm saying, type things like that. And then you know, when family and friends sending you pics and they seeing like, oh, you was just in Paris, you was, you know what I'm saying, in Miami for real, like you was living a different type of lifestyle. So it just made them look at me for information. Like they made me feel bigger than what I was. And I was just like, you know, I'm just like y'all. I just ain't trying to be in this place. Like, you know, everybody gonna take their risks and do what they gotta do as far as survival. But it was just like, I'm not loud. I was never loud with some of the negative things I had to do. Like, yeah, I was selling clothes and shoes like that. But a lot of the money I would make, I'm just like everybody else. Once you start making money, you like, well, how can I make more? I want to sell weed. I didn't found plugs on that. So it's just like, all right, now you doing this and that, and the third. And I'm not trying to glorify, because I'm like, that was just another hustle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I regret it, but at the end of the day, that's not nothing I really want to glorify. Like, oh yeah, I was selling weed. Now it's legal. You know, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I just, you know what I'm saying, kept things to myself. And then another reason was I wasn't nickel and diming. I was selling whole pounds. So it was just like, I ain't have to be flamboyant as far as like, oh, I'm in the trap. Nah, I'm getting it and gone. And now I'm selling shoes. So it's just like, people that knew me, I separated the business. It was like, okay, if I was selling weed to you, you knew that. And I was messing with a lot of old heads and stuff like that. So like they knew that, and it was separate from the niggas who I was selling shoes and clothes with, because I'm selling it to the dope boys. You know what I'm saying? That was my main clientele, but they didn't never look at me like, oh, he's selling weed. Because no, I'm not putting two and two together. I'm just y'all sneaker plug. So a lot of people, they try to have they mixing everything. You know what I'm saying? They want people to know, oh, I got the pills, woo, woo, woo. And you know, it pretty much end up being a downfall because you too wide open.
Okay. What was your like your top 3 favorite books, you know, that you read in there?
I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. My cousin, he recommended that book for me. I read the 7 Master Keys of Riches by Napoleon Hill, and then I read Flip. I can't think of the title, but Buy, Flip, and Fix. It was like a real estate book.
So when you were inside, was it like anything? Did you have like a plan or goals that you set out because you did what was it, like a year?
Yeah, I did a year.
So did you have any plans? And if you did, like, did you meet those?
Oh yeah, I had my pretty much. I just structured as it got closer to my end date. I was just structuring like a 90-day plan. I was like, you know, I know my credit gonna be shot. You know what I'm saying? So my main goal was really when I first touched down was to get my credit fixed. Cause I'm like, man, I ain't gonna have no money too much to really get back active to where I was at. So I focused on my credit. I'm like, all right, buy a house and open a store. 3 goals. I'm like, I gave myself 90 days for everything. Cause I knew, I'm like, okay, while I'm repairing and getting my credit fixed, I can't sit still. So I still need to be gaining revenue on buying new merch. Like I'm home now, so it's like I got a lot of merch still in my stores, but what can I do? I got to get back out here, let people know, hey, the shoe plug back. I ain't got the stove, but I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like pretty much I had to work out of my storage, and while I was doing that, I'm building my credit. So I say it took me about 45 days to get my credit where I want to be, then get a pre-approval to purchase my first home and things like that. And then I got out March 15th, so I'm approaching that 1 year of me being free soon. So I got out March 15th. I opened my store up in October. So roughly about 6 months. Yeah. And really, the biggest thing that was holding me up was everybody was pretty much leasing and buying everything up because people was having money at this time. You know, I'm coming home, the
EDDs,
PPPs, yeah. So it's like, damn, I can't really find no location. So I just happened to ride past and find a location. I'm like, cool, I'm set. And I took my last dollars on that. So they ain't even counting remodeling and doing like trying to get it right to open up. So it was just like, fuck it. I was just taking risk after risk, but I was putting my faith in my store.
So I want to talk about like when you were inside, like the people that you might have been cool with or whatever, like was they like holding you down, and how was the transition when you got out? Did you have to like cut people, let people go?
You saying as far as like family and friends, stuff like that?
Family, friends, like you know, because sometimes like when you at your lowest or when you at your highest, that's when you know who your true friends is.
No, right. I say I didn't really tell. Like I was so embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that know me know like I done did some stupid shit. So it's like, damn, now you in prison, you in a whole other state where you ain't from. So I really didn't tell nobody. I'm like, man, I ain't telling nobody because motherfuckers don't have something to say. You know what I'm saying? I just had a stove, and I'm looking at like motherfuckers want to see me fail. They weren't happy for me, you know what I'm saying, to have a store and things like that. But people found, I mean, you know, once you go in active and they used to you posting and shit like that, people was looking for me. They found me. You know, now they got the little JPay shit where you can put somebody's name in and it pops up. So people was reaching out and they was like, hey, you need anything? I'll send you something. So it was just like some of the people who I thought would, they did. They, you know what I'm saying, they was looking out. I didn't want for nothing too much as far as when I was down bad. So definitely shout out to everybody, especially my sister. Like she pretty much was like the biggest part of you know what I'm saying, making sure I was good, hold me down. in that aspect. But you know, some of my homeboys, you know, they sent what they could. Even though I'm like, if you're gonna do it, just do it. You ain't gotta ask me what I need. Like, I'm cool, but whatever you're gonna send, you're gonna send. I'm gonna be appreciated. Whether it was $5, $3, it don't cost much to survive. You know what I'm saying? Behind the walls, though. And that be a lot of people downfall. Like, that's probably why a lot of people be fucked up, because when they is down bad, they ain't got nobody really to show them love. But then one thing I realized behind the walls, a lot of people who you think somebody, when they get in the walls, they clucks. You know what I'm saying? They down bad. They using drugs. There's more drugs in prison than I ever seen on the street. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they calling their people for money because they owe a nigga. So it'd be like, you know what I'm saying, when you calling your family every week, oh, I need 25, I need 50, you know, it burns them out, especially if they ain't really got it. So I realized, like, a lot of niggas who behind them walls, and they two different people in the streets and behind them walls. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of them dudes be fiend out.
So when you did get out, because before you went in, you was doing good. Like, you at the store, you know, you making money every single day. Everybody love you. You know what I'm saying? You in the A. You're not missing no meals. You pretty much can eat whatever you want.
For sure.
So when you got out, like, did you have some money like tucked to the side? Like, how did you get back into the position where you was at? You know, with the store and everything.
When I came home, I had $1,000 on my books. Like, my people would send me money, but I wasn't spending it all on store. Like, you know what I'm saying? I buy certain things that I needed to stay afloat weekly. But I was just like, you know, I ain't about to blow my money, because this might be all I have, you know what I'm saying, when I get home. And then I don't know how I'm about to get home, none of that. So, like, when you leave out, they give you a little debit card. So I had money saved up, and then I had a few dollars when I got home, put up in the little safe in my storage. So, you know what I'm saying, I probably had about like $2,500 in total when I got home. And then I started paying certain things off, and then I had borrowed $500 from my sister. And that was like all I had after that. Then shout out to T Rose. That's my nephew's dad. He worked for a hospital, and they like train nurses and things like that. So he was like, they go state to state. So he was like, yeah, we about to be in Atlanta. I had just came home like 2 weeks. I've been out. And he like, yeah, I want to come down and fuck with you. So I pull up on him, and I end up kicking it with him. And he was introduced me to his coworker. He like, oh no, my brother got a sneaker store. And they're like, oh, we about to come fuck with you. And they came and spent, you know what I'm saying, put me back on my feet. I made about like 5 racks. So then that put me back in position to start copping new releases, get myself back out there. And pretty much from there on, I just it been on the flow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been on the floor. And, you know, I'm grateful of that situation, because without that, like, that was my big, like, bag, you know what I'm saying, from coming home. I'm like, okay, I got 5 racks now, all my fines paid, I got my license back, this, that, and the third. So it was just like, it was up.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, a lot of times, you know, just think of the people who may not be locked up, or they just at the house. Some people at the house right now are not doing nothing.
No, facts.
I always tell people, you got to get off your ass in order to stand on your feet.
No, for sure.
So when you came out, you had a plan. Like, you literally set a 90-day goal, you know, and you had a plan on how to get it, how to do it, and you was able to do it because you a hustler, you know. And sometimes, you know, we're both from a rough neighborhood, so some people do what they see other people doing. But the thing is, the same way that you could sell a pack, you could do the same thing with selling a product like wine or fragrance. He got his Coins Club hat. It's literally the same exact thing. So use the same type of mentality. And I remember I was talking to a guy. He was from the streets, and I was like, yeah, I got my product. And he said, yeah, well, dope sell itself. And I'm like, well, I am dope. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Like, I believe in my product. I sold over 12,000 bottles, $10 oil. And I remember this guy I was talking to, he sell units. Like, he'll sell like 5,000 computer screens or 10,000 TVs. Like one time he said he hit one for like he made 500,000 off an account. One account went to Vegas, and he told me he said Mr. Gordon, he was watching me sell product. I sold like 40 bottles in like 10 minutes. He was like, Mr. Gordon, he's like, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah. He was like, dude, if you literally come up with a product that's $100, he said you're gonna be a millionaire. And he was like, the same way you sell that $10 bottle, he said you can literally do the same thing with a $100 bottle. People are gonna buy it because you know they believe in you. I like how you present yourself. He was just simply just watching me, so that always stuck in the back of my mind. And now I got $100 spray bottles. You know, people can go on my website, you know, sgordonproductions.com, or they can get it out the trunk. You know, cause I still got $10 bottles too. Yeah. You know, so if you don't got $100, you know, you ain't got $50 for a candle, I still got the $10 oils for you too. So it's literally the same thing. So you just got to find something that you're passionate in. It could be a fragrance, it could be a shirt, a chain, a hat, some shoes, some glasses. Two forms of business that people gonna support. It's a product or a service. You know, so you offer a service. You might do hair, you might do carpentry, plumbing. You know, or if you got products like me and Tony, he got shoes, he got hats, he got all type of different things. People are going to buy it. Just don't be discouraged and just don't give up and just believe in yourself.
No, for sure. You got to. That's the key. A lot of people scared to take that risk. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 and being spoon fed, but it's just like, if it's not enough, when you feeding a baby and they still hungry, they want more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you really just got to sacrifice. Like a lot of people scared to sacrifice. Like you said, if you can't even take an hour out your day to promote something that you got a passion for or something that's yours, then you will never get the full effect of what it can do. Because if I was out there never making money, like I go outside and sell shirts for 6-7 hours. I might not even make no money until my last few hours when I'm tired, I'm drained, I'm ready to say, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? But then something that's happening, you come across 3-4 motherfuckers who like, and now it builds you back up, that momentum back up. Sometimes as soon as you step outside the door, it been times I walked outside an hour, 2 hours, and everything was gone. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna chill for a minute. All right, I'm back to the house. You know what I'm saying? My baby mama like, oh, you home early? Yeah, that shit gone. You know what I'm saying? Happy as fuck. What you about to do?
Exactly.
Go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? So you feeling good. So sometimes you just got to be patient. Nothing is expected to just take off. If it do, man, you should be blessed. You know what I'm saying? But without really getting the strife and the pain behind it, man, really you ain't gonna feel your brand. Some people, we at the point now where people are just coming up with things just to be coming up with it. You know what I'm saying? Like we spoke about the Gucci and all that. People wear that. What's the meaning behind that? Not saying everything you put on about to have a meaning, but why are you so fascinated by that and not fascinated by your homeboy shit? This somebody you probably grew up without the mud. So his blood, pain, blood, and tears is the same as yours. So I'm gonna wear that like his designer. I'm gonna pay for it like his designer. Whatever your price is, I'm not gonna second guess that. You know what I'm saying? So we just gotta really just be willing to sacrifice our time, our energy, and stop worrying about the ones around us, because like you said, it's a whole world out here. If you got to catch on late, long as you get on board ship, because once things start moving, everybody gonna hop on and fuck with you at one point in time. So once we sacrifice, you know, everything will look up for us.
Definitely. Yeah, and you're right, man. Patience is very key. Like I remember when I first started selling my fragrance, I went back to my neighborhood and I went to like the barber shop where I grew up in. So I'm trying to sell, you know, I sell my product for 10. So the barber, he was like, let me get it for 5. I done already sold it to everybody in the barber shop for 10. So I'm like, man, forget it. I take the 5. So then, but at first he would never buy the bottle I would go in there. He always want to smell it. Let me smell it. Let me put a little bit on. Let me rub it on my neck. Let me put it on my. But he never bought the bottle. Everybody in the barbershop always bought my product, but he never did. I was going to the barbershop since 6th grade.
Right.
5th, 6th grade. You know, I probably spent over $10,000 just in haircuts. You know what I'm saying? And I finally, you know, came up with something. I wasn't selling drugs. I wasn't getting in no trouble, but it was something that I came up with, and I believed in it. And I was happy. I wanted them to see, you know, this product I had. So I kept going there. He wasn't buying it. And then one day I caught his wife walking. I didn't know that was his wife. And I was like, hey, how you doing? Because I walk up to anybody. I don't care who you are. I would like you to smell my fragrance. You know, I came up with this myself. You know, it's all organic products and different things. She smelt it. She walked in the barbershop like, hey, smell this. And it happened to be her husband. And she made him buy 3 of them for the 10.
Right.
So, but I kept going in there. Now he wants it because his wife likes to smell. And he kept telling me $5. So I got a mentor, and anybody younger, or have a mentor, have people around you that want to get to where you at, or where you would like to become, you know. And I asked him, I said, man, I sell my product, and he always get me to sell it for 5, like, and I sell my product for 10. He was like, listen, never drop your product for nobody. Never drop your price point. If that's your price, you know, stick with it. You know, if they can't buy it, that's not, you don't want them wearing your stuff.
No, for sure.
So I went back in there and I told him, I say, look, you know, no disrespect, but I can't sell this to you for 5 no more, because I invest in these bottles. I invest in ingredients that go inside of it. You know, I invest my gas to drive up here to sell it to you. And he was like, people pay me to sell this product in my store. Now they paying them to sell the, you know, Tom Ford, Gucci, all the different, you know, brands. But this is something that I actually came up with myself. And it kind of hurt me. It was just like, dang, like, you know, you supposed to be like the OG, giving me all the game, you know, all these information. And he kind of like shitted on me, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of pissed me off, and I never went back there. I just stopped going there, and I just started focusing on everything else. Since then, I sold over 12,000 bottles. So remember, there's more people out there.
No, it definitely is, man. And you know, you got the ones the cheap spenders, I call them, man. You know, they want to get everything. If they can't get it for free, they want to get it for the best price they can. So,
Yep.
You definitely got to know your worth, definitely.
So, you know, we wrapping up now, but you know, the pandemic, you know, you was able to get back on your feet. You got the store. So now you kind of like you on into the credit and stuff like that now too.
Yeah. Well, I always been. If you know me, you know. If you know, you know. I always been in on the credit. It was just I learned so young that the guy that was teaching me, I always paid him to do the certain things for me. So it wasn't until I really needed to know the information. He was like, you know what, Tom? I'm tired of running around for you. I've been giving you this information for years. I'm going to give you these papers and these books, and you going to figure it out yourself. So once he told me that, and I'm like, man, I need my credit fixed. I just start really just researching and doing things myself. That's why when I was able to sit down, I was really able to process and come home and really get everything going. Because I didn't read books, and I didn't work for financial education services. It's a company that repair credit. And what they would do is like send you out dispute letters and things like that. And, you know, I learned a lot of things from them. I can just still log online and get the information that I need, you know what I'm saying, to actually dispute credit. So it was just like, it's something I always knew, but it was just like, I didn't feel like I was going to force people. Like, I don't want to have to force you to better yourself. Like, you know, a lot of people, like, it's easier talking about it because if you know, you know, then you're going to reach out, and if you're serious, then we get the ball rolling. But, you know, when before it became a thing, like over the last year and a half, you know, credit became a thing. People talking more and more about it, and people getting into it. But it was just like, you know, trying to promote this company and try to, hey, your credit messed up. You know, people be thinking things is a scam. You get like that. So it's just like, hey, if you want it, come get me. I'm gonna show you the results. I got my sister's credit together, you know what I'm saying, through that company. I also went through them myself. So I post the results and let people know. And some of my friends, you know, they went ahead and did it. But the main thing about that was you paid them monthly. You paid them monthly, and then they would send you out the information. And for some reason, people don't check either they don't check their mail or they just don't care, because it's like you can't further the process if you don't sign these documents and send them in. You do all the work yourself. All this company do is send you the documentation that you need to dispute, because can't nobody sign your signature and do things like that when it comes to disputing things off your credit. That's a lot of things. That's something that these people don't tell you. Like, if somebody's disputing your credit, like, for one, I don't need your social to dispute your credit. I just need a copy of your credit report. You know what I'm saying? And I can get the codes that you need to have in your dispute letter to get it resolved. But you still have to sign it, scan your ID and everything on these dispute papers and mail them in. So that's one thing a lot of people don't understand, that like you do it yourself.
Yep. So how important is financial literacy, you know, for pretty much our people? Because I know that's something that we lack. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, my family taught me about saving money and budgeting money, but you don't generate wealth off saving and budgeting.
Investing. It's important because a lot of people biggest fear is not having the capital. You ask people why you ain't get started with this or why you ain't doing that. Oh, I ain't got the money. Money is obsolete. Money is a thing. You get what I'm saying? So if you take care of what's important as far as credit, that's the money. You could do whatever you want. They giving about $100,000, $50,000 credit limits. You get lines of credit. You know what I'm saying? It's so many avenues to be successful with just having good credit. And then as far as that goes, you can actually get $100,000 credit limit. And then if you don't got no cash, I just do a cash withdrawal, cash advance on my credit card. And now I got cash. So it's ways to maneuver and be successful starting with no money at all.
Yeah, you're right. That's something I think about now, because I just had a daughter, and
congrats on that.
Appreciate it, man. But I just think more about, instead of me, I think about legacy now. And, you know, just taking, you know, say if I had say I got an 800 credit score, I can put my daughter under as an unauthorized user.
For sure.
And by the time she's 18, she got 700, 750 credit score. And she's able to go to the bank and pull out 50 to 100,000 if need be.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that wasn't taught. Like when I was in school, I went to college, and you know I gotta pay this money and loans and all this. So we as people complain about not having money or these different things, but all we gotta do is educate ourselves. So I feel like it's important for my generation. You know, I'm 31, and anybody that's younger that want the game and the information, we give it to the people who's coming under us. So now we can be good as a people. You know, instead of like hiding the information and all that type of stuff. So that's why this show is important, Just Curious, because I want to know about credit. I want to know about stocks. I want to know about real estate. I know a little bit, but I don't know a lot.
The cryptos, NFTs. No, that's definitely dope. And to piggyback off what you said, like you had your daughter as an AU, it's not just helping her as far as credit. It's helping her as far as the length, because she's not even one yet. So you got to think, you keep your credit up to par for 18 years. Now she got 18 years worth of exceptional credit history. So now it ain't nothing she can't get. That's the key. Like, okay, having good credit, one thing, but it's about the length of having positive accounts. That's like the biggest thing. Because you want to have at least 10 years plus to get certain things and to do certain things. You want to have at least 10 years plus of good credit history. And that's one thing they don't tell us about. And, you know, we do things as far as like we'll go lease a car instead of going to a credit union and somebody where they're going to give you the money, or building your credit up so that way you got a credit card that's 50,000. So you like, you know what, I'm about to just go swipe this credit card, and instead of paying these banks these high APR rates, you just paying your credit card bill like you do normally. Oh, it's $500. Here you go, take that 500, and I'm not paying no interest.
Nope.
And I own this car. Can't nobody come if I don't choose to pay my credit card bill. God forbid y'all would do that. If you don't want to pay your credit card bill that month, can't nobody come repo. Your credit card company ain't coming to repo. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like learning the game, but like it's reach one, teach one. And we so busy, like we spoke on earlier, we so busy holding information for one another or wanting to keep somebody underneath us. We so blind to see like we can help each other. If your whole crew got good credit, you know what y'all can go do?
You go buy a warehouse.
You go buy the block. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Go buy your own club. Go buy a loft. You know, we all 800, 750. So it's just like we all sign and let's get this money. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we got to be exposed to that. Like we used to our parents saying, I ain't about to co-sign you for that car. You ain't about to mess my credit up. But them not knowing, hey, add me on your credit then. It ain't, it's not going to do nothing to your credit. You add me as an authorized user. I can go fuck my credit up and your score going to stay the same. So our parents wasn't educated on it. So now we look at it as like, I ain't about to, I ain't co-signing for nobody. Yep. So it's just a trickle effect. That's just like, you know what I'm saying? How women is with men, you know, oh, he a deadbeat and woo, woo. Y'all, the negativity transfer. You don't want to do that. You want to just uplift everybody because you got to think your kids hearing that and everything. So pretty much like we just better each other, share the knowledge, and, you know, great things will happen.
Definitely. I just want to say I appreciate you for coming on here and just really just spreading some gems. We're going to bring the show to Atlanta. You know, we're going to come to the store. And I want people to, like, really see, you know, see really what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that's dope. And I feel like it's important because I go back to the schools and I asked a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I want to be NBA Youngboy. Or I want to be LeBron James. But they don't know that you can own your own shoe store or you can create your own product or have your own facility, production facility. You can sell stone. I met this dude sell stone. He make $300,000 a year just pitching stone to companies. Yeah. You know, it was a guy I met. He works at the Cavs arena, and they rent out the big tents from him. He makes 6 figures. Renting tents, setting up tents. You know what I'm saying? I met another guy because it's All-Star Weekend. He controls all the lighting, the sound for all these big events that's happening in the city. Make $250,000 a year. And he was telling me, he said, no knock on anybody that go to college or anything, but college is not for everyone. But they got jobs like that where you can literally set up, you know, the equipment, and you can make $70,000, $80,000 a year. Yeah. You ain't need a degree for that. And a lot of times people go to college and they get out and they making $40,000 a year. Yeah. So, like my brother, he drive trucks, and it's crazy because he went to college for 4 years. He got out. He was working jobs that he didn't even need a degree in. And probably after 4 or 5 years, he started driving a truck. He told me, he said, I'm going to sleep in my car, my cab. I'm going to save my money for 2 years. He did everything that he told me. He bought his truck. He got his own truck now, so he don't lease it no more. Bought him a condo. He bought a motorcycle. He bought a brand new car. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a vision and he stuck with it and his mission and his purpose. Kind of like how you did when you got out.
For sure. And that he made a sacrifice. He said, you know what? I put my pride to the side. I'm going to do this. Because it's going to be a bigger outcome. That's one thing we got to do as just a race of individuals, man. Ego, pride, man, let that shit go. We at a time now where information is the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, all that beef and all that crazy shit, let it go. Because if you ain't interfering with my money or taking food out of my child's mouth, then what are we doing?
What you got to lose?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What are we doing? But we trying to get this money, man.
Exactly.
And it's out here for us, man. And, you know, it takes people that the viewers can touch. You can be touched. You out here in the streets, you being seen. So when they see they can touch you and they see the elevation, it makes them want it more. Cause they like, man, this dude, he was just throwing parties at Sausalito and woo woo. Now he riding around Rafe. Maybach, you know what I'm saying? So when they see that, because now everything is advertised, so instead of recording somebody get knocked out on World Star, you know what I'm saying, or things like that, record the positive, you know what I'm saying? Share that, let somebody else see, like, hey man, these guys came from nothing, because that's where the power at. And when people see that, like Rose said, man, he like, you know what I'm saying, promote yourself and go over and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Let motherfuckers know, like, nigga, I ain't playing. This is what it is. No, you want me to post something 50 times? No, I'm gonna do it 150 times. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shout out all my partners. Shout out to S. Gordon, the S. Gordon girls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come by the wine. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go over and beyond on everything. There's no such thing as overdoing it. I want to be so much in your face that when you go to sleep and have a dream, you know what I'm saying? You thinking about me. You wearing a Coins Club hat.
I'm about a pillow. I'm gonna have my own pillows so you can sleep on it.
For sure. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you don't never be too overconfident or too prideful. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, without the people, we can't be who we are. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you always gotta want to give back. Like, you give back and show thanks. Like, we thank y'all. Without the community, I'm not selling sneakers. You not selling oils, fragrances, wine, ties. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to you as well, because I be seeing you got the youth learning how to tie ties. You know what I'm saying? So you building insight and showing these guys like, hey, it ain't all about the drip. The drip can be anything. Throw on a nice little blazer, a tie. You know what I'm saying? Some fresh slacks, some chinos, what they call them now, and you can still be dripping harder. It ain't because everybody want the designer and this, that, and the third, and that don't be the case half the time. So, like, big up to you and the nonprofit and everything you doing in the community and things like that as well.
Appreciate it.
Oh no, for sure.
I just think too, like, anybody can go to the club and get a VIP section and spend $2,500. That's cool. You impressing, you know, you might impress the girls or whoever around or your boys, but it's a bigger flex for me to take $2,500 and go to my high school and buy the whole football team cleats.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's a flex for me, because I didn't have no one come back to the school and do that. My first pair of cleats was some ponies. They wasn't even Nike or Adidas. So I told myself when I was young, I'm like, man, I'm going to be the guy to come back and talk to the kids, and I'm going to buy the whole team cleats. I'm going to give out toys in the neighborhood. And a lot of times, believe it or not, I did it with not even having no money in my pocket. I was knocking on people's doors. And when I first started off, a lot of people wasn't even giving me donations and things like that. I hate asking people for donations. So I sold my product. I was selling cakes, pies, because I had a vision to do this for them, to inspire them. I don't know who I might touch. It might be a kid, that might be a doctor. Hey man, I remember, you know, you was talking to the team and you gave me a pair of cleats. And he might have just needed a pair of cleats to motivate him to go to college, to become a doctor or a lawyer or accountant, or might do motivational speaking. I don't know. But it's important. That's why I just feel like it's important for us, especially as black men, to go back and the kids see us. Because when I was going back to the schools, 1 hour, remember I said put an hour into your business? I was like, man, I could do an hour a week and go back to my neighborhood. And I asked the kids what they want to be when they grow up. You want to be and they say a basketball player, football player, athlete. After 2 months, 2 of the kids walked up to me and they said, hey, Mr. Gordon, one of them said, hey, I want to be you when I grow up. And then another kid like, no, I'm going to be him first. So it made me think. I'm like, dang, imagine if I didn't go back to the school. They wouldn't even know I exist. You know, so it's just important. Like a lot of us say that the youth don't look up to us, you know, because I had a kid call me OG the other day. I'm like, dang, am I getting that old? I'm only 31, but, you know, these kids look up to you. They want the game. They want the information. I'm still that kid. I want to know from a 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old person. I like dressing, but teach me how to put my cufflinks still together, like, because I'm a sponge. You know what I'm saying? And somebody said you want to be ignorant. The day that you don't become ignorant is the day that you don't grow. So the more you want to know, the more that you gonna grow.
That's real.
But I want to leave it with this, like, you know, just some advice that you might have for a youth or somebody that's young, or even if it's somebody your age and they like right there and they just feel like giving up. Like, what's some advice that you would give them?
The only advice I can really give them is, man, stay 10 toes down. Because if you're willing to give up, then you don't believe in it anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? Follow your dream, feed your passion, invest in yourself. Don't expect for nobody else to invest in you but you. Everything else gonna fall in line when it's supposed to. It ain't no rush. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to Nipsey Hussle. He said it best, man. It's a marathon. You know what I'm saying? I'm 35. You know what I'm saying? It took me about 23 years, 24 years to really realize and find myself and see what vision and what passion I had. So it's just like, and you know, my son seen every step of the way. You know, sometimes when I opened my first store, my son was there helping me paint, do everything. I wanted to cry so many times, like off of joy. You know what I'm saying? Because my son rock my shirt every day. You know what I'm saying? He telling everybody, his teachers, his friends. To this day, he's still asking me, "Hey, Dad, this summer is his homeboy KJ. Can KJ? He got a job still?" And my other friend, he want to work. What you gonna have us do? You know what I'm saying? So that's like the biggest reward I can get. Him in the store, he's seeing people coming in, cashing out, and seeing we ain't got to do nothing wrong. He gonna help. He go to the back, grab them shoes. You know what I'm saying? Just the joy and the passion of it. Like that's what I do it for. Like that's the biggest blessing, the biggest reward I can get out of it. So when kids starting to see the different transitions and understand, like, can't nobody tell my son anything about my business or anything, but he gonna tell you everything you need to know. Like he worked there every day, and that's on God. Like, so it's just like, man, just stay down, believe in what you got going on, and be patient, man, because everybody time gonna come. Just be ready for it.
There you have it. We're gonna leave it at that.
Man, shout out to S. Gordon, man. Just Curious, man. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Cleveland All-Star Weekend 2022, man. Look out for that boy S. Gordon this Friday. Sausalito. He bring his labs to the city, man. Hey, come on now. Man, he been doing this for the last 3-4 years, man. So thanks again, man. I appreciate you. Oh, before we end, man, I gotta buy some product, man. I gotta buy some product, man, for real.
You don't buy it on the spot?
Man. On the spot, man.
I was gonna give it to you.
Hey, I'm gonna take it too, but hey,
I was gonna give you
we spending the Honda, whatever. Let's go.
I appreciate it.
Let's go.
I was gonna
man.
give you this, but you can have this bottle of wine too, man.
Man, we already know, man.
Take it out.
That's how we going, man. So who's drinking with me tonight, man? Come on, hey, Honchonomics Instagram, baby. Hey, we going off that S Gordon tonight. Let's go.
There you go, man. Just Curious. Everybody have a great one. If you want to purchase the product, you know, the sprays, I had the candles. Just look on the bottom part of the screen, www.sgordonproductions.com, and you can purchase, you know, my product. That's if you want to support me or support the show.